What's up? It's Taylor Acorn, and may the rock be with you.
Hi Taylor,
Hi, how you doing?
good. How you doing? Good to talk to you again.
I'm good. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. So I always start with this way. We last spoke at Good Things
Mhm.
last year, so let's catch up. How
Yep.
the last 10 months been for you?
Oh gosh, crazy busy. I finished writing a record, which comes out next Friday, which is insane. I got to do, oops, sorry, I've got a cat. Um, been real big cat mom the last few months. I got a second one, so now I'm like daughter and son, full mother. But no, I've been really busy. Just we did a tour over the summer, which was really awesome with a bunch of my friends, Arrows in Action, Charlotte Sands. Gosh, what else did I do? I really focused on just writing the record, which now I get to put out and then tour here in the US here soon.
So you haven't been busy at all then, so you've just been doing nothing, sitting around.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. Now, in the most
I
exciting news, of
wish.
course, Poster Child is
Yep,
out next Friday, as you just said.
it
It's,
is.
it's your first on your new label at Fearless, which is amazing.
Yep.
After a
Thank you.
decade, though, as an independent artist, what does this new signing
Mhm.
allow you to do you never thought you'd be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, I it's still so new, so I feel like a lot of the times I still have to remind myself like, "Oh, you're not independent anymore, okay?" But yeah, no, I think for me, it's just, you know, I feel like I've been doing so many things on my own and doing as much as I can on my own. And now I feel like we're gonna go to radio for the first time and we're gonna be able to do things that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do on my own anymore. And so, yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what happens. It's still so fresh,
Mm.
just because, we haven't like rolled out the entire record or anything yet, but I'm really excited. I feel like so many doors are going to be opened. At least I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Now, when you're putting
Yeah.
together, though, essentially a debut album, we'll call it that because,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's on the label. What was the
Yeah.
process like knowing you wanted to be that perfect introduction to a broader audience?
Oh gosh, I think to be honest, I don't even know if I thought about that. It was
Oops.
just kind of like, no, no, no. No, I definitely, want to make a really good impression, not only with the fans in a broader audience, but like with the label as well. But I've been so fortunate that, going into this label deal with them, they have been past records, past singles, and things that I've put out have been so supportive. And we're fully like, we know that you've been doing this now for almost a decade,
Yeah.
and we want you to continue to feel like you have that platform. Like, they trusted me, and I'm just really happy that they did. But obviously, like, I really took a lot of time with this record, specifically the last few months that I was able to write it, to just really perfect everything. We worked with like bigger like producers to master it and
Mm.
mix, and I really tried to reach outside the box and work with new collaborators and things like that. So I really tried to do my due diligence, to make sure that I was giving them the best record, but also they fully trust me, which is kind of scary. like
Good.
I'm like, are you sure? Are you guys supposed to be like telling me what to do here? Like, I don't know the ropes, I'm still learning everything. And but no, they've been just like so unbelievably supportive and have loved everything that I sent them, which makes it very difficult because I'm like, all right, guys, we got to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, they've been really awesome and supportive, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it's so cool. What I've always loved about your
Hmm.
music, and especially on this record, is there's such a vulnerability to your songs and your lyrics in
Hmm.
particular. Do you find the writing process draining or cathartic when delving into some of these topics?
You know what? For me, for this record in specific, I felt it very cathartic because
Good.
I had been touring for so long. And, there were just a handful of things that happened in my personal life and my career side and things like that I wasn't fully able to process. And is really hard to process any emotions when you're on tour because you have such a small window to be like, I'm not okay, but I have to get on stage and I have to like be present and show up for the fans that, are paying money to come see you and come in to support you. So for me, I don't really think I took any time until I started writing this record to really fully process the things that I was going through, but, for me, it felt really cathartic. I think there was a lot of things that I mentally needed to get out of my brain, but also off of my chest, and I feel like there's kind of a theme throughout this record, of just my roller coaster of emotions of things that I was going through, and, I lost a really, really great friend of mine, and, just things like that, and so it feels very cathartic to me. Sometimes I think touching back on old memories where either you haven't quite tapped into that yet or, you feel like you've moved on from it can be a little bit exhausting, I feel. But life has a way of just lifing, and
It does.
I feel like it's always going to be ups and downs no matter what. And so I try to just like take every opportunity to write as a positive experience. Like, this is my therapy. This is what I get to do. And I get to share it with people who, might not have the luxury of being able to afford therapy themselves. And this is their cathartic experience. So, yeah, I just try to think about it in that way.
Yeah, excellent. I've had the
Yeah.
record for a little while now. My review is gonna be up this
Mhm.
week for you, so you can have a look at that if you want to. But I always
Hopefully
like
it's
to
good.
well, no, it's great. I always like to pick one song out that stands out for me on a record, though, that isn't like a released single or whatever, but on this one, it was "Blood on Your
Mhm.
Hands," which I really, really loved.
Ah,
Can you tell me
thank
a bit about that
you.
song and how that came about?
Yeah, so I really, really, really love like horror movies and I'm really into true crime and stuff. And so it was actually really interesting. We were showing up to write really, really early in the mornings. Um, I wrote this one with my friend Spencer Jordan, who I wrote Psycho with. Funny that the intro of that song is actually a little excerpt from American Psycho. Fun fact. But I wrote that was Spencer. I wrote it with Knox Morris, who's a really awesome artist, writer here in Nashville, and my friend Emma. And my friend Emma was actually the one, she really surprised me because she's usually the one that's like, let's write something positive and like happy. And I'm like, I'm always the one that's like, maybe we should not do that today. Like, I'm not really feeling that. But she was the one that came in with that idea, and her and Dan had actually started writing the chorus and then Knox Spencer and I got in a little bit later, and we ended up finishing it. Just like fell in love with what she was doing, and it so aligns with just my vibe. I love like the spooky things, and that song definitely has like a spooky undertone and feels very empowering, and I think is a bit different from other things that I've done in the
Mm,
past. And yeah, no, every single time I hear that little excerpt in the beginning, I'm like, this is about to go so hard. So I'm really glad you like that one.
great, excellent. Can't wait to hear it. We everyone to hear it, and it's gonna be fun.
Thanks. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the production on the record because it's huge. There's so much going on.
Mm,
In no way does it ever sound too busy or too cluttered. So, what was it
mhm.
like working with Dan and Dylan William to get the sound just right?
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that was so fun about this project is that, I feel like in the past, that was one comment that I would always hear from listeners like, oh, this kind of feels like it could have gone this way or it could have done this.
Mm,
And so we really didn't want to leave any stone unturned this time around. I didn't want to give anybody the excuse of she didn't do enough this time.
yeah, right.
And I felt really confident going into this project too. And I just wanted to do something that felt different, but also felt like kind of like how my brain has been feeling the last few months. And Dan and I really sat with it, and he would send me a mix, and then I'd kind of sit with it for a while. I'd bounce ideas off of my co-writer Emma, who was in the room with us for the entire record, and we'd all kind of come up with different guitar riffs and things, and just little things we'd hear. And um, this record is very vocal heavy,
Mm,
which I don't think I've really done that in the past either, where it's like there's so many vocals that I just like I don't know, I was like, let's add this, let's do this. Um but yeah, no, I think that it was just really cool to be able to sit with somebody who also I've been working with for so many years, who is like after all of this time is still so gung ho about every idea that I have. So, no, we were really having a lot of fun with it, and I was so excited to work with Ted Jensen, who mastered everything. He's like a really big person, a master producer out here in Nashville, and so was very, very excited to work with him. It just feels very big. It feels like
Mm.
it's kind of gotten to another level. Like I loved Survival in Motion, but this feels like the adult version of that, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it certainly does.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
sounds huge without being too
yeah,
over the top. So well done on that one.
yeah. Thank you, thank
Now,
you.
that's all right. As we've talked about before, I've been following you since your country days. So now, with that now well past, is there anything you
Mhm,
learned though that you've continued to use in writing or anything or recording music you used from back in the day that you
mhm.
continue to use?
Well, I this time around, I realized how powerful my own writing is
Mm,
sometimes. And when I started writing initially, I wrote a lot by myself, and I had never like co-written with anybody before. And then once I moved to Nashville, obviously it's like a very common thing to like write with other artists and writers in town. And I feel like for the last several years I've like really leaned on other people to kind of guide me and help me through. And I love the collaborative experience of being able to write with people. That's like so much fun when you get to create something out of nothing with other people, and they might come to you with another idea that you may have not thought of it in that way before, and just different angles and whatnot. And this time around I actually sat and I started writing People Pleaser, the first verse and the chorus of that, and Poster Child, the same thing. And it was just a skill that I thought I had lost. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to continue to do that. And I feel like that's why this album feels so good to me, because it feels so genuine to me and my style of writing from when I first started.
mhm.
And so I don't know, I think that aspect is really, really cool. And I think that it's such an important skill to have when you start writing by yourself, to continue doing that, because it's not really like riding a bike.
Yeah,
it's
right.
it takes a bit more brain power to like be able to continue to do that. So that is one thing. And then of course, like writing, when it comes to collaborating, like working with other people too is such an awesome tool to have. Like bringing in Knox and bringing in Spencer and bringing in Kendall Goodman and my friend Anna, like all of these people to collaborate on this project, I feel like made it such a harmonious experience. And um, all of the songs to me, they just feel so perfect. And I don't know, I think that like bringing in other people as well is really cool. So yeah, I think those are like the two things that, like, don't be afraid to step outside of the box. Don't be afraid to try new things musically, vocally, um, you know, rely on yourself still to write, and make sure that it's coming from your voice, but also allowing other people to kind of have that ability to come in and shift things around for you. It's always a positive thing.
Great answer. Now, 2024
Yeah.
was a huge
Thanks.
one for you here in Australia. But
Mm.
when are you coming back
Yeah.
to see us? You came and saw us twice last year. Haven't come this year.
So very soon.
That's all I can say.
Uh, I don't know how much I can say.
Soon's fine. Soon's
I
good.
don't know how much you guys know. No, but we'll be coming back again very, very soon, and this time, it's gonna be really fun.
All right. Well, my friend
That's all I'm
Trish,
gonna say.
my friend Trish is obsessed with you. She thinks you're the greatest thing that's
No.
ever happened. She said
Oh
you
my
have to do at
God.
least 11 shows because she's got 11 t-shirts. So she has to do 11 Taylor Acorn shows. So you have to do at least 11 in Australia. Can you do that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we potentially could do that.
I'll let her know. Now, lastly, what we do, and we'll do this again, we look ahead to the future with a prediction. So finish this sentence
Mhm.
for me. In 2026, Taylor Acorn will.
Oh my gosh. Will shoot, I don't even know. I'm like, will do an arena tour. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Oh, manifest.
Manifesting, manifesting.
Awesome. We love that.
Yeah.
Taylor, thank you
Good.
so much for your time again. I can't wait to catch up
Thank
with you next year
you.
when you're here. It sounds like you're coming. So we'll see you next year.
See you next year.
Thanks, mate. Thank you for checking out our interview with Taylor Acorn. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. And check out maytherockbewithyou.com for everything else.